Though they're aimed at kids, the LEGO games tend to win over older audiences by dint of their goofy takes on the nerd culture canon. In the 6 years since LEGO Star Wars debuted, the games haven't changed a whole lot. Sure, Indiana Jones has his whip and Harry Potter has his wand, but when it comes down to it, you're still just smashing bricks and collecting junk. Does LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars bring balance to the Force? Or is it just business as usual in Legoland? The Clone Wars animated series lends itself perfectly to LEGO Star Wars. Hand-picked episodes from the first 2 seasons serve as campaign missions, and because the TV show's chronology airs out of order anyway, LEGO Star Wars 3 has no ties to continuity. Rather than proceed through episodes in order, you'll chase Count Dooku, General Grievous, and Asajj Ventress through 3 different story paths, fighting through condensed versions of the series' best arcs along the way. As usual, the game respects the source material while having a bit of fun with it. The LEGO game's trademark levity eliminates the brooding seriousness of the TV series, replacing dark tones with slapstick humor. The downside is that the comedy often makes it tough to tell what's going on. With no dialogue to convey plot, LEGO Star Wars 3 relies on the player's existing knowledge of an episode to follow along. Silly non-sequiturs like everyone eating ice cream before the big battle tend to replace the who's, what's, and why's of crucial narrative turns. You're better off enjoying the goofy gags while ignoring the big picture, even if you're a faithful Clone Wars viewer. LEGO Star Wars 3 leans heavily on the LEGO series' oldest ideas to extend its total playtime. The most complex puzzles aren't actually difficult, just arbitrarily long. Rather than sprucing up the dying formula with some much-needed variety, you can apply the same solution to nearly every puzzle in a given level. On the other hand, the game compensates for this ho-hum repetition with the series' most ambitious concept yet. LEGO Star Wars 3 distinguishes itself from its predecessors by doing a genre dance. Jedi generals take an active role in commanding troops during quasi-real-time strategy segments. Micromanagement's minimal. This is a kid's game after all, but the play is complex enough to keep you engaged. Expanding your influence requires careful balance. Spending cash unlocks additional structures and units, but you can spread yourself so thin that taking control of enemy outposts is impossible. Resources can run dry, so spend wisely. The game will not balk at halting your progress if you lack the funds to proceed. The game also tries to get ambitious with its space combat, but it isn't quite so successful. The thought of tearing gunships apart from the seat of a starfighter is incredibly alluring, but you'll actually spend most of your time flying between landing pads. In place of exciting dogfights and tense trench run sequences, you get a tedious bunch of back-and-forth switch flipping and simple target practice. In other words, the worst of what LEGO games have to offer. An over-reliance on its newest elements is LEGO Star Wars 3's primary weakness. The novelty of leading dozens of clone troopers in a mammoth walking tank to victory wears off pretty quick. Much like the core game's predictable puzzles and been their boss fights, you've truly seen every facet of the experience after one go-around. Trouncing a droid army is exhausting in the most fulfilling sense, but commandeering similarly structured fortresses again and again is just plain draining. The guts of the experience hasn't changed. The platforming is as basic as it gets, and the button-mashing melee battles are primarily about delivering effusive feedback in the form of LEGO brick showers. The game also depends on the same old collectibles to keep you interested, many of which you can't reach unless you replay levels using specific characters. It'd be nice to see special qualities in these unique cast members, but the Jedi are merely palette swaps of each other, and the clones are little more than carbon copies. LEGO Star Wars is simple to a fault at times, with vague instructions and obtuse solutions making matters worse when you get stuck. Indicators or advice could have gone a long way to alleviating some frustrating, pointless exploration. In the end, its attempts toward evolution only go so far before they're run into the ground by repetition. Before too long, LEGO Star Wars 3 ends up feeling like the same old LEGO game you've been hacking at for years. If nothing else, LEGO Star Wars 3 is a faithful recreation of the Clone Wars. The settings come off as genuine and familiar because they skew toward the realistic, often sacrificing the LEGO look that's made the series so charming. It's by no means a graphical jaw-dropper, but the amount of on-screen action makes for some earnestly impressive moments. The sounds of droids fighting Jedi to the animated series' distinctive Star Wars score just sells it further. The game certainly looks and feels the part. LEGO Star Wars 3 has some interesting, innovative concepts that sound great on paper, but they ultimately fall apart the moment the game gives you control. What you end up with is one of the dullest entries in the entire series. LEGO hasn't lost much money betting on our propensity to smash and collect bricks, but truly discerning Jedi will want to sit this one out.